What's up, everybody, and welcome to the Comment Writers. We are a Kamen Rider review podcast, and today on the show, we're going to talk about Kamen Rider Zeztz, episode number 28. I'm your host, Josh Meek, the Uber Geek, and I'm joined, as always, by my good friend, Toby Tobes. How's it going, Toby?
Josh, one of the best pieces of food tech have been updated this past week.
Oh, okay. I'm really excited. I don't know what this could be, but I'm pumped.
Okay, so the last great food tech that was invented years and years and years ago.
Sliced bread.
Sliced bread. And we've never actually topped that, which is important to know. But even more important than that, there was a time where everyone got both salty and excited when Coors Light, the beer company, started putting like thermal stickers on their cans. So if the Rockies weren't blue, your beer wasn't cold enough to drink yet. And that really dumbed it down for the likes of me. That it's a win. It's also a loss because sometimes they put the beers in the wrong side of the cooler and then it just turns blue when it's not cold. But that's a different story, and I digress. Josh, back in 2008, that is 18 years ago.
Forever ago.
Forever ago. Domino's released the pizza tracker. And for those that don't have Domino's and or pizza trackers, basically the Domino's pizza, huge food chain, whatever, decided that after they got rid of the 30 minutes or less deliveries and we started getting very web 2.0, 3.0 with the world, they were like, what if on our website, instead of like people just knowing when the food was coming or like calling us pissed off because it's been an hour and a half and your pizza hasn't arrived yet, what if we make this crazy little like GPS-y app on our website that like walks you through the steps of your pizza that says like, oh, Jim's throwing your pizza in the oven now. Oh, adding the toppings. Oh, it's out in the car. Blah, blah, blah. And it was actually like a really dumb, fun thing to watch, especially when you had people over, of like, where the fuck's my pizza? When's it going to get here?
Yeah, it was early enough that it was novel still. Like, obviously, every place does something like this now to some extent. But yeah, that one was like, it was granular enough. Like you said, it's like actually like giving you names of people, I think it was in the first version. And yeah, telling you like the specific step they're on. And it was so early in this process that I do remember it was quite novel.
So as of March 24th, so shortly after we last recorded, which is a little disappointing. That's not brand new. Maybe it's not a reveal to anybody. Domino's has upgraded the pizza tracker to, I guess we'll call it Domino's Tracker 2.0. But this is the first actual upgrade of the software program, whatever, since that original launch in 2008.
No way. What?
Yeah. So now it comes with a full-blown app. They developed their own OS called Dom OS, a proprietary operating system that's blending real-time AI inputs along with store team members' inputs with machine learning models to ensure the most accurate time estimates for your food. So instead of them guessing, they're trying to lock in, like, if we tell you it's 7:47, your pizza will be there at 7:47. They're also adding live activities for iOS users. So you don't have to like unlock your phone anymore. You can like watch the order from the lock screen. It has all sorts of new steps where it has like place, make, deliver, and pick up for the pizza instead of just, it used to be like making, throwing in the oven, finishing out in the car, blah, blah. There's now GPS to track your pizza so you can get real-time information. And that seems to be like the main ones, but there's a whole fancy iOS app that goes within everything. And they've upgraded all the tracking for time and humans bringing your delicious, delicious Domino's pizza.
I hope someone figured out a day one exploit for Dom OS.
I would have to assume it's there somewhere.
I hope somebody got kernel access, just like day zero. Dom OS completely pwned right off the bat.
I would like if they leaked Dom OS, Domino's, whatever, out to the world. Like, let me just like make my own fake pizzas and just play with like the software. I think it'd be like my best timeline.
Yeah, I want to fork their software and make not Pizza Tracker, but like Josh Tracker. And like my family can have the app on their phones and be like, oh, Josh is still in bed. Okay, hang on. Oh, Josh is on the move now. Okay, he's on his way.
I feel like you could kind of get away with that with just like normal iOS.
Yeah, you can.
Tracking, but...
you absolutely can. I will say, when you talked about the like the live activity stuff that they added, for iOS, I did get excited because honestly, like, people don't talk about it enough, but I feel like the live activities are like a game changer for iOS. Like that's one of the biggest upgrades they've made in that system in the past like 5 years. It feels like the apps that do it, it's so cool. Like figuring out how close your DoorDash order is because you get to see the little tracker update. I think Chick-fil-A even does it for when you like place an order and you pick it up and like they tell you if it's ready or not. Like there's some really cool uses of the live activity for iOS. I'm sure like Android had that like 15 years ago or something, but uh, it's a neat thing that iOS
I'm
has.
not sure that I know what it is to tell you that they stole it from Android or not. It
So
just
it's
sounds like apps run on top of the lock screen instead of underneath the lock screen. Is
kind
that
of it is a much more rich notification. So it's a notification that can update in real time and they can add graphics to it and like have progress bars that change over time or whatever. So it's basically like they give them um more avenue to show off more of the app on the lock screen in the notification section. And then when you have your phone unlocked, they do a cool thing up at the top where you have like the little like notch for the phone.
yeah?
They can show off to the side like a small little version of the app as well. So like if it's a timer or if it's like a distance thing, you can still see like how far away it is. Um, so yeah, it's actually kind of cool. Like they, if I think a lot of modern Apple and the way that they design is just not as good as it used to be. But I think that's one of the things that they actually did really well on recently.
Okay, cool. Yeah, because when it said
Uh,
live activities, I assumed there was like things to do in the app, like as a
no,
human.
that's
And
just
I
a
mean,
weird iOS word for this feature.
gotcha.
Yeah, it's not well named. That's for sure. And it's certainly better. Speaking of horrible Apple features that I was just angry at yesterday, they recently added this like create your own emoji feature, and it's only in like the newer iPhones, I think. Because I think like I have it, but my wife doesn't because she's like one iPhone generation right before me. And what it's supposed to do is like using AI, you're supposed to like be able to describe an emoji and it creates it for you. But in practice, it just like actually almost doesn't work. Like it doesn't even like try to create an emoji after you type something. It just kind of sits and spins forever and then maybe eventually fails. But like it is it's supposed to be like an emoji, right? That you kind of instantly can create one very, very quickly because you're having a conversation. And every time I've touched it, it has taken at least multiple minutes to work, and most of the time actually fails completely. So great job, Apple, nailing it over there.
What, like, why would you need a live? So, okay. So, again, we'll start the statement with I'm probably too old for the technology. Like, what? I don't know why you would need a live create my own emoji. I feel like they have everything that you could possibly need for the most
Yeah, I
part.
mean, yeah, for sure, I agree. But I guess if you wanted like to make a chef that had poop on their hat, you could combine those two emoji or something. I don't know. I
So,
think
so
I
if
think
you and I,
also
if we were like dynamically like texting each other, and
mhm,
you were like, "Man, you're a shit chef," and I was like, "Oh shit, chef, that's a good emoji." I'd probably
right.
have to wait like 7 minutes. You're saying so that by
I
the
mean, at
time
least
like
in my experience, I don't know if I'm doing something wrong or whatever, but yeah, in my experience, it's like the slowest thing you've ever experienced is generating one of these things.
so it wouldn't be like it wouldn't be funny anymore. By the time I made the emoji, we'd probably be
You
like a
get it
few more conversations down the road, and I'd be
exactly.
like, "Hey, look, here's Poop Chef," and you'd be like, "Wow, that would have been funny like 10 minutes ago. What took so
Yeah,
long?"
not too quick on the draw there with Poop Chef. I see. I've never.
That's why you just stick with Photoshop. I can make Poop Chef emoji in Photoshop in like 2 minutes.
That's true.
Me.
You do have a long history of photoshopping in the middle of conversation and then presenting me with just a horrible catastrophe of an image that you've created.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I was
yeah.
the
We
first AI.
you really were, yeah. Like we're like, the Yellow Ranger, she's pretty cute, and then like 2 minutes later, you've created this thing where you and her are looking like you're on a date, and your heads are
I,
all on wrong and facing the wrong direction. Yeah,
I don't think that was. Maybe there was a date one. The one I distinctly remember is I had the picture of me looking like a serial killer, making like a screaming face with my hood up, and that was inserted between the two female rangers on Megaforce. I think that's like the actual like classic
okay,
Photoshop that started all this. but there
Now
might have
the
been a date
one
one
that I
before.
remember, the one that I remember, because you of course were obsessed with Ciara Hannah. And the one that I remember the most, it was you found a photo of like two people, and they were like, it wasn't a park, but it was like, I don't know, like next to a body of water or something, and like they were clearly like laughing in the photo and like having a good time. And you put your head on the guy and her head on the girl, and my memory, I don't know if this is actually true or not, but my memory of it is that you did like a hilarious laughing photo of you, like you're like cracking up, like biggest laugh you've ever done in your life, and you tilted the head in just a way to make it look like your head was almost falling off. And then she's of course there, so like it looks like you guys are on like the best date the world has ever happened, but your head's about to fall off. uh
I feel like you've added layers to this over the year. Like, I'm sure the picture is somewhere. I would almost guarantee the picture is somewhere. I
I'm sure
don't
it's like on your
remember.
Twitter somewhere way far
Yeah,
back. Yeah.
I don't remember. I don't remember the date one, but I'm not gonna say it didn't happen because I used to shoot. I used to, be horny on Maine and then try to pick her up. So these are all possible things.
These are things that happened. And also, you made so many of these photoshops. I don't know why that's the one that sticks out in my head,
It was
but
the most. That was the most charming of all of them, or it was the most like unhinged of like in a different timeline. This is the type of person that ends up in the news.
you're right. Yeah, you were like a little bit of knowledge of technology away from like cutting out magazine photos and like pasting it together with your saliva or something, right? Like you're that same guy. You just happen to know Photoshop.
Yeah, I got to do it digitally with less fingerprints and just and put it online for the world to see.
Yeah, exactly. So yeah, you were the original AI for sure. I could say something to Toby, and then 10 minutes later, it comes back with the worst creation you've ever seen, just like AI. Yeah, good times had by all. Well,
Yeah.
Toby, speaking of good times, let's jump into talking about Kamen Rider here.
I was gonna say, speaking of worst creations, but you went with you went with the happier way. So that's nice.
I try. Sometimes I try. I try to be positive. And today on the show, speaking of positive, we watched an episode called Rage, which yeah, I don't know. It was I guess a little bit on display here. Of
I feel
course
like it
we
was no.
are.
I feel like it was no worse than any other. I would have picked a different adjective or like violent word,
Yeah.
emotion, feeling. I guess because like I'll assume it's mostly about Sieg or whatever we want to call him, but he's not really like raged. He's more
No,
just
he's
like
just
unhinged.
unhinged. Yeah,
Yeah,
exactly. I think the Rage should have been the name of the episode when Baku like tries to kill Nox, like right, like that
yeah.
was the one where he's like, "I'll break you." That was the Rage episode. So yeah, I agree. Name not quite perfect here, but we are still experiencing Sieg, as you said. So the new Kamen Rider Dawn is continuing to wreak havoc here. And kind of the first thing we see in this episode, Baku is fighting him, and eventually Dawn gets the upper hand and slices and dices him to such a degree, with blood flying even, that Baku is dehensioned and instantly jolted awake, which is crazy.
Yeah, I do think it was cool not that like he wasn't cutting the suit and the skin, so it was that weird like level of, hey, this is violent, but not really. Kind of like the gunshots where you never really saw the gunshots nor the bullet wounds, but you knew they were shot in the head kind of deal.
Mhm.
So I did think it was cool that like he was, like you said, hacking and slashing, and there's CG blood sprays going everywhere. And it was cool that like he actually kicked his ass enough that he woke up. And I was kind of shocked that he wasn't damaged when he woke up. He was
Yeah, me
just
too.
basically like scared awake of, oh shit, I might have got stabbed a couple times there.
Yeah, it's the I feel like we should have a you die in the dream, you die in real life, like that should be extended to you get the crap sliced out of you. You should have some cuts IRL. I don't know.
Well,
It
especially
did
because I feel
feel
like
a little weird.
I feel like they carried things over other times
Yeah.
where maybe not the gunshots, because that was a little extreme. But I feel like there's other times where he got hurt in the dream, and then he had like the bandit on his head in real life or something along those lines. So I feel like we've established that's kind of how it works, but not really. And now here we are.
Yeah, it's so hard to remember because like they there's so many things that were dream, then weren't dream, but then were dream because actually we were in the premonition the whole time. So yeah, who knows how that actually all shakes out. But yeah, it was a cool scene nonetheless, and of course everyone's still trapped in the gang dream that we talked about before. So um, that's where Nox and Nem kind of are as Baku is forced out of the dream himself, and Sieg starts pursuing Nem in this episode. So he like is kind of following her and trying to track her down. And he talks about, he knows she's the girl who was born from nightmare power. And he specifically talks about her being burdened with sin before birth, which
He got super religious.
yeah, a little bit there. And we do get a little bit of a flashback here where we see a scene where Sieg is like being tortured by two men in suits, like punched, and he's like bloody and disgusting looking. And he talks about basically like, yeah, if you have a bad dream, if you get in trouble, like, don't falter, just enjoy it. Just enjoy the bad dream and it's all good.
Yeah, he's definitely like way beyond broken in his brain at this point for sure.
Yeah, we get to hear a little bit more of his backstory later on in the episode too. But yeah, he clearly is the to use a Marvel Comics reference, he is not Venom, he's Carnage, right? Like he is both someone who started out insane for unrelated reasons, but then also, clearly has this power that is driving him further insane and becoming one with nightmares and stuff. But at its core, at a human level, he also is like a crazy villain and a crazy, horrible, bad person.
Yeah, it's definitely a wild time over there with him.
It was pretty cool in this scene though. So after he's chasing Nem and it's getting a little serial killerish, Nox is able to kind of pop in and then whisk her away to safety using kind of a secret dream door, basically, which is pretty cool. So this episode, I think that the theme for Nox was definitely, we are going to continue to edge him closer and closer to being 100% on the good guy side. Like, yeah, we're gonna humanize him. We're gonna let him have more, moments with Baku, and we're gonna finally introduce him to the command room, and yeah, just so many things to like bring him into the fold.
Yeah, like this was definitely, it was basically like Nox's episode almost.
Yeah.
Like, I feel like this episode specifically was about Nox going, okay, I know he hates code. This is the actual right timeline and things I'm supposed to do. Followed by Sieg's backstory. And then the third arc, like the C story of this week, is definitely just Baku doing Baku things and moving the actual story along.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah. We do get to see a little bit of code as well. That comes up in the next scene. I like that we're getting these shots of like the inner workings of code and like how their power structure is sort of like being stretched, because we have 0 and 3 who clearly have their own goals and are working behind each other's backs. And we see a bit of that today because 3 clearly doesn't like how 0 is handling this situation and just sort of letting Sieg be out there and kind of run amok. And 3, thinks they should go after him and take him out. And 0 kind of wants to let all of his enemies just fight each other for a while. And we actually get to see 3 clearly move towards undermining 0 here, because he goes to meet with 5 and kind of pitches him on becoming a part of Code Somnia, which is going to give him more power, basically. It essentially is going to power him up, kind of in the same way that Sieg was.
Yeah, they're all definitely doing their own, like, Batman Venom or a Batman Bane with Venom kind of thing of like, hey, like if you don't like the way it's going, 0 kind of sucks. We definitely have a way to make you stronger, though. Mm-hmm. Like, if you really want to get into some shit, like, you'll be ready. This is what we can do.
That's going to be a cool role for 5, too, since he's already the guy who likes to clearly puff up his chest and brag about how tough he is. If we actually get him a thing where he actually does become super super tough, he's gonna be awesome in that. Um, we do see a little bit more in the command closet. Baku meets quickly with Fujimi-san and Naska, the two police officers. They talk about Nox and they think they can go, find him. But Baku tells them that the dream is not over yet. They're still kind of trapped in the dream world. We
I
also
think more
then, of course,
importantly, it was
oh,
the
go ahead.
it's also the command restaurant now, as we no longer eat on the floor.
Yes,
As the day goes on, we have like nice meals together at the table that's there, and
this was, I think, my
actually acting like
favorite.
adults.
This is my favorite scene in the episode, actually. So yeah, Baku's sister comes and brings him dinner, but then instead of sitting down in his bedroom like they normally do, she barges into the command closet and they set up a nice little dinner in there because, in her words, there's more room and it's easier to protect him, which I think is awesome. She's so cool.
She's really cool, and
um,
like I know we're kind of like jumping around. Like this episode's like kind of disjointed and just like thought little like short pieces here and there kind of thing.
yeah,
So we'll just keep jumping around. But like my favorite part of that scene when Minami and Baku hang out together, when they're having dinner, like she doesn't tell him like don't die please, but she kind of makes a face, and they're having a conversation about like how he goes too hard, like what he's going to do with his future, and she says just don't let me eat dinner alone, is basically like the exact line, or very close to the exact line she says, and they both nod and agree on it. But I think that's like a really like cute sisterly familiar way of being like, I don't want you to die, don't be stupid. It's just like, hey, like I don't really want to eat dinner alone, and you're all I really have, so
all I got. Yeah,
let's stay a little smart about this kind of deal.
yeah, I totally agree. I think that it was such a cute, sweet scene. They let it breathe a little bit too. Like they didn't rush through it, and I thought that was nice. Um, she is such a ride or die character for him. Like if you think through everything she's been through, right? Like she kind of like figured it out and accepted everything in the premonition, and then like instantly gets brain dumped all of this again and has to like accept it all over again for the first time, in the real world. And she has taken so much of it in stride. So yeah, it's cool to like give her a little bit of a scene and let her and Baku have a moment, because it has been kind of like war prep in their
Yeah.
lives for the last couple days here. So yeah, nice little quiet moment with the two of them. And yeah, it was very touching, like you said, because clearly like they're the family that they have. Like they I don't think it doesn't seem like they have much more, extended family or anything like that. I think they just have each other. So yeah, don't let me eat alone was a very sweet moment.
I was actually kind of waiting for like when the way they set it up, she kind of worded it like, you know how our family is, dot dot dot, and then like I just don't want to eat alone. And I was kind of waiting for them to say like parental figure in their lives somewhere. And then I thought about it, how like none of these shows, Kamen Rider specifically, do these people ever really have parents? Where there's always at least one missing, if not both, like a good Disney movie.
Yep, yep.
So I was kind of vaguely maybe like, hey, since mom's sick, we're gonna do this or like whatever. But no, it's just the same. Like, hey, it's just you and me. Let's not get too nuts.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. We cut back to the dream world next, and we get another kind of a good moment between Nox and Nem. The two of them are getting a little closer in this episode. Nox says that Nem is actually pretty useful for him. Nem wants to know about her mom, and they are kind of talking about how the two of them, both the lady and Sieg, can control nightmares. But Nox assures her like they're not connected, they're not related in any way. Um, but yeah, I think he just wanted to like reassure her like your mom's not the same kind of crazy as Sieg is. But it's clearly Nox still has a high opinion of the lady, because he like talks her up in this scene, right? He's like, oh well, she uses the nightmares to keep you safe and to take down code, and Sieg is just like a madman. So it was interesting that he's like speaking so highly of her, even I guess timeline wise, even though he is like clearly becoming a little bit more sided with Baku, and like he didn't follow the path where he completely signs up with her like he did in the premonition so far, but he still, he still thinks she's pretty cool.
And it seems like overall, there's a pretty solid grouping of agents in code and like of who gets along and who doesn't. Like 3 is the outlier. It seems like 2 and 4 effectively are friends. 5 and 6 are friends. Sieg's off doing his own thing as the insane first member kind of deal.
Yeah. Yeah.
They all seem like they have their own little lines in the sand with their little friend bubbles.
Yeah, that's true. They do. I hadn't thought about it like that, but that is funny. A nightmare attacks them pretty soon after this. Nem kind of says like, 7 will save us. Like, we'll be safe as soon as he gets back. And Nox is kind of like, why do you trust that guy? Like, what do you have in this? And she explains that like, he saved me like countless times, like over and over again. Every dream I'm in, the guy shows up and saves me, which I thought was pretty cute.
It was very good. And then I think that was when like he basically took her little Riot Girl helmet off and was like, let's calm down a little bit here. And then after when they were talking, it finally clicked to me that I feel like she was supposed to be like a Harley Quinn type vibe.
I think exactly Harley Quinn, because she had the red and blue jacket and stuff.
Yeah, and it didn't click last time, but definitely clicked this time.
And she, at some point in this episode, she goes kind of like a little extra intense with her fighting back and with her spunkiness. And I think she for sure was just doing a Harley Quinn impression for that.
Yeah, so I like this episode, I feel like or at least the vibe has escalated very Batman-y and Gotham and the Batcave and everything else.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, even the bad guys this time around, when they were in like the gang dream, is very like Batman thug that you'd have to beat up in like Arkham Asylum or something, right? Like it does harken to Batman for sure. As the two of them are trying to escape, eventually Baku is able to kind of like whisk them away into the command closet. He kind of like hops out, grabs them, pulls them in. And yeah, we now have Nox's like first time that we know of in the command closet, which is kind of cool. And he gets to see the whole place. And this is a cool scene. I like this scene a lot as well. So Baku takes off his ring, says he's no longer 7. Now he is a rogue agent. So he's 100%, I guess he is disavowing his time with Code.
Yeah, he's just his own rogue squadron, like you said there.
Yeah, he's his own dude. And Nox like kind of gives him lip about it at first, and then Baku turns it around completely. And he's like, "Well, you picked a new name, didn't you? What's your name again? Is it Nox? Did you pick Nox for yourself? That's not your real name." Yeah, like, I thought that was so good.
Yeah, and it wasn't even like specifically that. It was like Nox was trying to tell him like when he was saying things like, "Oh, like I don't really like that you just want to be Zeztz now. That seems silly." Blah blah blah. I'm sure it was in an episode we saw in a moment where if we were smarter we would remember. But like they let Baku basically quote Nox like line and verse of like, "Well, now that I'm no longer with Code and my true name can be displayed, I'm going to call myself Nox." Blah blah blah. So he had like a whole like little speech about like, this is the exact lines you told me of why you were Nox now and not 4. So it seems fair that I'll do the same exact thing back now. So he's very sassy to his almost new friend Nox, but it was very good the way it was done.
Yeah. I pulled up the exact scene here, and he's like walking around Nox, giving the speech that you're describing as if he is Nox, and he's saying like, "I know Nox, like I'm gonna make my dreams come true." And he's like, "There was a time when you thought that."
But yeah, it was very cool that Baku's just hammering home like, we are on the same path. I know you don't feel like it because you just know 2-day or 3-day me and not the 24-week one that was happened already. But he's doing as much as he can to be like, no, we are the same person. I am fully on your side. I just need you to also be on my side, and we can work together on this kind of deal. And I thought that's like they're doing a really, really good job of like trying to make, I guess, Baku show Nox how important he is if he stops acting silly and not cooperative.
Yeah, it was a really cool way. I feel like a lot of shows would do like a big pleading scene where Baku has to like, really kind of confess to Nox, right? Like not in a romantic way, but in like a, I need your help. It's really important. Like we have to work together. But really, they built that camaraderie here very quickly, just with some ball busting, which was like
Yeah.
a fun way to do it. And I think it shows, I guess, Baku slash Zetz's, because he's kind of the secret agent guy here. Like it shows that he actually is like very charismatic, like a secret agent should be. He's able to do that and like poke fun at Nox, but pull it off in a way that like it endears Nox to him a little bit, and I think that that's pretty cool. And then immediately after that, we have them kind of begging Nox to tell them about Sieg. Like we need details on Sieg. Let's find out about him. And this is where we get the main big flashback about the storyline for Sieg, as we've kind of alluded to before. So he is code number one. So that answers all of our questions about who code number one might be. It is Sieg. He was number one along with the lady who was number two. They were the original two people that Code was experimenting on in terms of their dream learning stuff that they eventually were doing on Seven and other people. And we find out here that Sieg is a criminal, and Code kind of pulled him out of prison with the promise that like, hey, if you work for us and do what you're supposed to do, those criminal records will go away. So he's
The
fully
craziest
like a
part.
Batman villain
Oh
at
yeah,
this point. Yeah.
it's crazy. Like the wackiest part of that was like they're supposed to be having like a visual moment with each other of like, or like both one and two are sitting with Zero, and he's like, "You two are the best of the best," and she's like very professionally sitting at the desk ready for the conversation, and Sieg is kind of like bouncing around the room like Joker-ish, just
Very
using
Joker.
Batman comparisons, where like he's just like kind of jumping around, acting stupid, like making jokes like, "Oh, I'm the special one because like I'm the prison pass. Look at me." And Zero even makes a crazy statement of like, "Yeah, you two passed like the most stringent mental exams and tests and everything else," while he's bouncing around the room. And all I could think of is like, I don't know what they were testing then at that point, because obviously he's very unhinged and just nuts and crazy and everything else.
I imagine what they were doing, and maybe we'll actually get this explanation, and maybe we won't. But I bet it was Code like being like, "What happens if we do this dream stuff to someone who's like really grounded, like the lady, and then also what happens if we do it to a crazy person?" And let that's the current experiment we're doing.
Yeah.
Like I bet it was like they just wanted to know. Like, are criminals better at this, or are are normal people better at this? And I bet it was just a pure manipulation. There's a moment in this scene too where the lady is like, "You got to get rid of this guy. Can you? I can't believe I'm working with him." And Zero at the desk he like kind of very gleefully is like, "Request denied. No, no, thank you. We're gonna keep the crazy guy around." But according to Knox, the insinuation here is that at some point in the future, Code, even Code, grew to, I guess, distaste Sieg's approach, and he was going crazier and crazier, and he was taking on the powers of nightmares, and eventually they decided to kind of cut him loose, and that's where he kind of went off into hiding, I guess, is kind of how they're sort of describing it. And now he has emerged again because Zeztz also has similar powers to him and is able to kind of absorb nightmares and use them for his own power, kind of like Sieg can. So Sieg had to come out and see what that was all about. Then we head into our final confrontation for the episode. Baku goes back into the dream world and continues to fight Sieg, and there's a big fight, with Sieg involved at the end, but first we're fighting against the nightmare in the gang dream, and Baku basically destroys the world by kicking the monster through the moon, which is a crazy awesome visual.
Yeah, like whatever rider kick charge up super form he was doing, he basically like turned his foot or the monster into a vacuum, and you could see it like pulling the moon into both of them, and then he just rider kicked him into and then slashed through the moon itself, blowing up both things
Yep.
like a real badass.
After he powered up his impact capsum last time, he's got more muscle now when he uses that capsum. So like the duplicate powered up version is better for sure. And yeah, now he can combine all of his fun capsums in his Catastrom capsum, and he can just destroy the moon. So in doing so, he also destroys this entire dream world, which will free Nox from his dream captivity, and he'll wake up from his coma. So he told Nox that he'd get him out of the dream, and he's finally done it. And Nox says that he's a man of his word. So one more little feather in the cap for the ultimate friendship between Baku and Nox. However, things are going so well, but Sieg is still a little bit ahead of Baku, and he comes in and using his cool sword pretty quickly is able to get the upper hand here, and he forces Baku to dehension, and he says that they're gonna have fun in their never-ending bad dream, which clearly is what Sieg wants to remain in.
As
Um,
as we healed the moon, I guess is
yes.
the most important part of that. He can just reset the nightmares, or I guess because he was born in nightmares, we just adapted to them or something, you know.
And he has
He's
clearly
living
like
his own
this
timeline.
intense power over him. Yeah, like you said. So he can fix the moon that was just broken. We saw in his first debut can just transport you to different locations and stuff. So he's as we described before. He's just Neo in the Matrix when it comes to the nightmares. um, Sieg chains Nox up and eventually takes him back to his little prison. So we get to see Nox in one of the little cages, which is pretty crazy.
The
And we
new guy's
also,
stuck in the nightmare hole.
yep, it continues to be stuck. And we get to see the lady. She has a butterfly fly into her. She like grabs it in her fist, and then eventually uses it to put it into a capsum. So she's creating a new capsum that I guess ostensibly we haven't seen before. And I think the insinuation is she's gonna come for Sieg at this point.
Throughout the episode, I felt like the meaning or the use cases of the sleepy butterflies, the purple Nem memories or the lady memories, whatever. I feel like they changed the way they worked or they explained it different. Because in the beginning, it seemed like when she grabbed the first one, it's because like Nem got saved or came out of the dream. And it seemed like the lady could see what happened when the butterfly got there. And then there was a point with like Nem got saved or something with Nem where there was a bunch of butterflies on top of her, and Mom was like touched them again and got like the story recap for the day. And
Yeah,
then at
she
the
at
end,
one
she
point
grabbed
she's
one, turned it
like
into a
she tells
nightmare.
Nox at some point like, "Oh, you better keep her safe." Like she
Yeah,
clearly knows what's going on in the dream world. Yeah.
yeah. So it seems like I guess they're just the dreams specifically, and she can just like grab the butterfly and see the dream if she wants to, or use the butterfly to turn the dream into a nightmare or something. But it definitely was like I feel like we got more information about them while getting like less information about them.
Yeah, I think so. I think they're a little hand wavy at this point, and they just kind of are whatever she needs them to be, or they need them to be for the story. Because yeah, they don't work consistently. They don't show up consistently. She uses them for different things. It's a little confusing. I think that maybe is like the one criticism about Zeztz that I kind of have is like they can do a little bit of hand waving in some cases because they get so much leeway with it being all this dream stuff, and they get to make up so many different rules of reality and things like that, and they can kind of do whatever they want. And in some cases, like we've kind of seen that, like and that's a good example of one.
Yeah,
Not anything major, but yeah, it is a thing. But yeah, I mean, I'm excited about Nox being more involved in the group. Obviously, like we were close to getting him out of the dream world here by it being destroyed, but then it gets rebuilt, so now he's trapped again. So I'm assuming where this goes next is that Baku has to rescue him, which again further strengthens their bond.
Yeah.
Yeah. But
Or
yeah.
or him and Nox will do something together, or they're basically 2 episodes away from being friends at this point, it feels like.
Yeah. Yeah. And we're like 3 episodes away from just like full on buddy cop bromance. I'm waiting for it. So let's see. I think we filled out all the numbers that we know of code so far, right? We've got 0 up through 7.
Yeah,
So
because with Boss, 1 and 2 are Lady and Sieg.
3
3
is
and
3,
5.
our one guy.
Yeah, 3 and 5 are friends. 4 is Nox. 6 is the lady
6
or
is
the other guy.
Kureha. Yep.
Yeah. So we're there. We got them
That's
all.
cool. I'm curious now that we filled in the numbers. Is that it, or will we like last minute final arc? Are we gonna get an 8th? Is someone gonna show up and be like, "Hey, Code just recruited me, and I'm here to kill you"?
I mean, if anything, at this point, it feels like Minami would be 8, but not like directly through Code. It'll just be like Baku's sister helping because she's been in all this. But
She deserves it.
yeah, but I would assume like if the whole gimmick now is fuck Code, no more Code, blah blah blah. I would assume there's no more numbers coming anyway, unless he needs help who's not Nox, and then it'd be effectively it would be 8, but it won't actually be 8.
Yeah. Well, I mean, like I think that Code still has to have some kind of a big bad emerge before the end of the show, right? Because right now we're dealing with Sieg, and he's this sort of like other entity. But eventually we have to get back to Code, and then Code has to have somebody that can counter Baku. So either that's going to be 5 powered up by what 3 has planned, or that could be a new person they recruit, like someone someone else they bring in. Right now it's sounding like 5, but we'll see where it goes.
Yeah.
Toby, let's jump over to some emails. We got a couple emails today. The email address, if you would like to send emails in, is cast@commonwritersucks.com. Once again, that is cast@commonwritersucks.com. You can also find that linked down in the description. Our first email comes in, from our new friend, I'll say, Adebayo, who wrote in last week as well. And Adebayo says, "Hello, Toby and Josh. How are you doing today? Just wanted to say thank you for reading my questions. I really appreciate it. Also, I'm not going to lie. I had no idea the whole Cougar thing was a bit. And honestly, I got to say it is a really funny bit."
Hell yeah, it's working.
Anyway, here are my questions. Question number 1, Josh, what are your thoughts on Alex Winger's return in Street Fighter 6? Oh, I'm so happy that you brought this up, Adebayo. I have a lot to say about Alex in Street Fighter 6. So yeah, if you're not aware, Street Fighter 6.
Toby bugs Josh about this all the time for no reason.
Yeah, this has been quite the saga. So Alex is a Street Fighter character who first debuted in Street Fighter 3, and then he was in Street Fighter 5. And now he's been added as DLC to Street Fighter 6. Alex is a pro wrestling character, and in the earlier games, he was, training to be a pro wrestler and kind of was like fighting with that grappler style. And in Street Fighter 6, he's like fully a pro wrestler now. He is a heel, and he's, going through all the normal pro wrestler stuff, and he's like a big star and stuff like that. So he is awesome. I was I wasn't a big Street Fighter 3 kid growing up. I went from Street Fighter 2 and the various 2 games into Alpha. Those were my main Street Fighters, and I kind of skipped 3 and didn't really play it at the time. So I didn't have a lot of experience with Alex back in the day. But of course, like being pro wrestling is like that's up my alley, right? From a character design standpoint, he is so freaking cool, and he is, I will say, inspired by Kenny Omega to a huge degree. Kenny Omega is one of my favorite wrestlers, and Kenny Omega did the mocap for Alex, and they even gave Alex like multiple of Kenny Omega's moves. So like Alex can literally hit the one-winged angel in the game and it's so cool. Being a huge Kenny Omega fan, it's so neat to see that. So leading up to Alex being added into Street Fighter 6, I was really excited, and I was like, I'm gonna get this guy. I'm gonna start learning him. I'm gonna really focus hard on Alex and try to get really good. So we'll come back to the drama that happened from the debut of Alex, but Alex came out, and I have been playing him a ton, and he is super, super freaking fun. I have gotten my Alex up to Gold 2 so far, which is, not amazing, but pretty good so far for kind of picking up a new character. He's a blast. Like I said, he can do a lot of the Kenny Omega moves. He has a lot of abilities that behave differently if you are behind the opponent. And he has a couple moves that will spin the opponent around in a circle. So there are like cool combo routes you can do where you like spin your opponent and then throw them into like a big overhead suplex. And then if you have super meter, you can then instantly chain that into the one-winged angel, and then like half your opponent's health bar is gone. That's so cool to actually pull off in a real match. And yeah, he's just got a lot of fun, big, heavy hitting moves and a bunch of cool grapples and stuff that are pretty neat. So I like Alex a lot. I'm playing him a lot. He's kind of like my new main in the game. However, when he came out, he had a controversial story, I will say. So very quick background on this. He is a character, Alex is a character who is an orphan, and he was raised in the Street Fighter story, and this is established in 3 and 5. He was raised by a man named Tom. Excuse me. And so Tom is a family friend, a friend of his father. And later we find out Tom is, I think, cousins to Alex's mother. So Tom takes Alex in as a child. Tom has a daughter named Patricia. And Alex and Patricia grow up together, and she's kind of like, she sees him as a sibling. That's like what the official storyline says. So when Street Fighter 6 now has Alex's story in it again, we find out that Alex has married and has had a child, and he is married and has had the child with none other than Patricia, who is not only his, essentially stand-in sibling from his childhood. He grew up with this woman, quite literally, living in the same house as her, as far as we know. He also is like second cousins with her, because if Tom is cousins with his mom, then these two would be second cousins. So Alex, in all the wisdom of Capcom Japan, they made Alex settle down and marry his cousin sister and have a baby. So,
and
that's
so my first interjection, or like, this is where I picked up with it, because I didn't notice any of it until Josh said, "Hey, by the way, like the Kenny Omega cool Alex guy, like he has a kid with his second cousin. It's really fucking weird." So then that was when my ears perked up, and I was like, "This is insane. Josh is playing silly games. I'm gonna keep my eyes on this." So Josh said it. It happened. We laughed. It was no big deal. I forget. It might have just been through conversation, like not recorded, but it might have been recorded too. We were trying to figure out the logistics of how you get to a second cousin through your family tree.
right.
And I think we got to your great grandparents. One of your great grandparents need to have a brother, but not be something else. There's a bunch of other things to jump through. But since then, I always get excited because like every 2 or 3 days since Josh and I talked about it, I see a new post on like Kotaku or Polygon or one of them that's like, "Hey, Capcom tried to squash the incest beef, and I think they're making it worse." So they release like, I guess it's like a cutscene story, or at least like a comic you can read online, whatever.
That is actually, well, okay. So yeah. So the part about marrying Patricia is the ending for his arcade mode. So it is like comic scenes that they show in the game.
Okay, yeah.
But then yes, so then they do like an addendum story on top of that as part of this, essentially saying like, "Hey, we're gonna fix it." So Capcom came out and was like, kind of saying, I think their official wording was like, "Hey, we're sorry that people are misunderstanding the story of Street Fighter 6." And they kind of say that they're going to do the first ever lore patch in the game. Like they're going to update the lines in the game because they were misleading, is how they present it. And then along with this announcement, they present a new story, which is what you're describing. So yeah, take it away.
Oh, I figured you would know better than I
Okay,
would.
yeah.
It just seemed
So
like basically it seemed like they said like, "Oh, we're sorry, you misunderstood or we misexplained this." And then to me, it seemed like they just like explained it again, but explained it worse, and
yep,
actually just
yep.
like added fuel to the ancestral fire and not toned it down.
Yeah, it truly is crazy. So they come out with this post where they're saying, like, hey, sorry if you misunderstood. We're going to update the lines in the game, um, ostensibly to make it less like he just married his kind of pseudo sister, who is also his cousin. So we hear that. That's the first thing we hear, and then everyone clicks in the story to read it. And I tell you what, this story is in all aspects a doubling down of they go out of their way in this story to again say that they grew up together and that she viewed him as a sibling and he viewed her as a little sister. Like they really 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 hammer home the fact that these two had a non-romantic relationship as children. But then they ended up getting married.
That makes
So
it all okay.
everybody
They
yeah.
because apparently like the main piece in their mind is, I guess they're taking it as everyone thinks that they got together sub 18 and they're like, this is disgusting. So I guess like Capcom's just trying to clarify, like, no, they were adults. It's cool.
Yeah.
And like
I think I think
that's
that's
just the
the
hard
only
stop.
yeah, I think that is honestly the goal of what this story was supposed to do. And it was presented as Tom, who raised Alex and Patricia, sitting at a bar pretending to talk to Alex's dead dad. Because it's called like a meeting of fathers or something like that. So it's kind of Tom being like, "Hey, you'll never believe what your kid's been up to. Like, marrying my daughter. Isn't that wild?" Like that sort of a thing. But yeah, I think you're right. I think that the goal, for better or worse, was them trying to say like, yeah, they were siblings essentially as kids, but then like they became adults and fell in love with each other, right? That's fine then. But the text of the story, well, first of all, that's not a great goal in general. It still doesn't really fix anything, and the text doesn't really go out of its way to say that. It mostly just talks about them being siblings, which is crazy. So everybody kind of read that, at least in the English speaking parts of the world, and we're like, what are they doing? Like, doesn't even make any sense. Like, what are we even doing at this point? And then people started to go to the original Japanese of this story, um, which translates very differently than how they ended up presenting it in the English version. So I guess the original Japanese is much more like they're not saying that they're siblings. They're avoiding that topic entirely in the Japanese original text. And for some reason, when they translated it, they added back in all of the like, yeah, they grew up together, they're siblings essentially, that sort of a vibe. So the whole thing is like really, really strange. I don't really get it. I don't really know what the goal was, and I don't really know what the strategy is going forward. But everyone is memeing on it very, very hard, and it has been hilarious drama to keep up with for sure.
Yeah, like the goal should be just stop talking about it so people stop talking about it.
Yeah,
But it seems like they feel like they need to be the last, they need to have like the last comment in the argument. And those comments are just like, no, this is why it's cool.
yeah, totally.
And
a
then I
lot of
just,
people a lot of people too in the community were trying to say at the time like, well, like Japan is just really different culturally, and
that is
like
true.
this is a thing that like, Japan would look at as a really romantic thing, right? Like you married someone that you were very close to as a child, and like, Japan's not as serious about whether you marry a second cousin or not, like we are. And then someone translated a bunch of Japanese comments about this news, and everyone was roasting it there too. Everybody was being like, "Oh, this is a little weird." So I think it's pretty universal that people think that it's kind of strange.
And to clarify where the fork in the family tree is, I tried to find that chart again that you and I talked
Okay,
about.
yeah, yeah, please.
All right, so obviously we are all we. So if your great grandparent had two kids, you like your grandparent being one of them, and them having a brother or sister. It's your brother. It's your grandparents' brother or sister's timeline going down through the generations to get to like your first cousin, second cousin, once removed, twice removed, everything like that. So it's
That,
three
yeah, got it.
generations up that it splits. And as long as you go up 3 generations and take the split that's not directly tied to you by your parents, you seem to be safe by the legalities blessed upon us by Capcom.
Yeah, I mean, then you can be a star in a fighting game, I guess, if you want to marry your second cousin.
Best
Um,
timeline.
yeah, I don't know. I think Alex is still an awesome character, though. All this aside, like I don't really care about the story as much. I think this has been a fun
Who
like
plays
drama
fighting games for
thing.
the stories anyway? Like you just
Yeah,
want to
yeah.
punch. You just want to punch people and do flashy things and everything else.
Yeah, totally. Exactly. And that's what Alex is. He's big, he's flashy, he's an awesome pro wrestler. They've been releasing a bunch of like fun pro wrestler related stuff for the game along with him. So they had a battle pass kind of a thing basically where they did some like extra wallpapers for your like in-game cell phone and stuff like that are all like Street Fighter Pro Wrestling, which is very cool since now there's like I don't know 4 or so different characters that are canonically professional wrestlers.
There you go.
But yeah, he's super fun. I like him a lot. He's pretty great. And the next character that's coming out is Ingrid, which will be out in a few months.
That sounds tough.
Yeah, she's apparently people like her. I've never actually played her either in any previous game, but she's a fan favorite. Anywho, back to the email. That was quite the fun detour for our drama we've been keeping up with for the past couple weeks. But question 2 from Adebayo is I know it might be too early to call any Reiwa era show the Black Sheep, but I'm curious, would you guys consider Kamen Rider Saber to be a potential black sheep of the era so far? Because I don't think that Saber is really talked about that much compared to other Reiwa shows. Well, anyway, hope you guys have a good night and take care. And then P.S. Make sure you catch the McDonald's Shamrock Shake before it's gone. That's
Hell
just a
yeah.
good tip. Yeah. So Kamen Rider Saber, I know you haven't watched it, Toby. But I think I would 100% agree. Of the shows we've gotten so far in the Reiwa era, it's easily the black sheep, I think. I haven't watched a ton of Saber because I bounced off of it so hard. I just hated it. the first little bit of Kamen Rider Saber, I was really trying to give it a shot. Obviously, this is before we were doing the podcast, so I wasn't forced to stick it out like I would be now. So it was just I was watching it for fun, and it was my hobby that I was doing, and I tried to start Saber, and just again absolutely hated it. Hated the characters, hated the plot, hated a lot of even the like designs of their Kamen Rider suits and stuff. I think Saber missed the mark in a lot of different ways, and I think that people. I think people had a little bit of copium at the time, trying to think it was good through the run of the show. And I think now people just don't care as much because there's better shows.
There you go.
I think Saber is my Kuga, but for real, I'm not kidding.
Kuga could still be my Kuga for real. I don't know yet.
Yeah, true.
Someday I have to find out, but not yet.
Yeah. So thanks very much for the email. And our final email of the day comes in from our friend Shade. Shade has some details for us from the case file for episode number 28. And Shade points out, as I did a second ago, that with the new leveled up Impact Capsum, he's extra muscular now when he henshin. So they show some pictures of that in the blog. Shade says we also see Nox parry a freaking rocket, which is crazy. And then Shade says, if I had a nickel for every time I've seen a character parry a rocket recently, I'd have 2 nickels, which isn't a lot, but it's weird it's happened twice and in the span of 1 month. And then shared a meme of the epic handshake meme where it's parrying a rocket and Knox is on one side and Leon Kennedy is on the other. So. Shay says, by the way, they didn't talk about the scene between Baku and his sister in the blog for some reason, but this is my favorite scene in the episode. I know eating scenes are especially difficult to act in because you actually have to have food in your mouth while you're acting. So seeing how both of them are having this heart-to-heart conversation during a meal is so great to watch. Yeah, that was such a good scene. Next up, the blog talks about Code's uniform and Sieg's, aka Code Number One's, outfit. So, of course, Code 4, we've seen Nox kind of when he was still in Code. We've seen his outfit. We've seen 5 and 6 with what they wear, with kind of the black pants, white shirt, suspenders. We of course have seen the agent gear for Code number 7. Again, black pants, white shirt, suspender situation, or I guess a holster situation. The blog says, you may have noticed the agents in Code have a dress code that requires them to wear agent uniforms primarily in black and white, but Sieg would never conform to this style. So during the costume fitting, we decided to make the white t-shirt underneath the Code standard and go all out with the rest of the outfit to completely disrespect the organization's dress code and be outrageous. So that's why in the flashback scene, Sieg's outfit includes a Hawaiian shirt, shorts, and sandals. He's not wearing the ring with the code number on his finger either, but on a chain as a necklace. He
I
has
didn't
that
notice the
bratty.
necklace thing. I
Yeah,
thought
I
that
did.
was. I thought he was just being stylish. Like I thought he was just being like, I'm cool. I don't wear rings, but I definitely noticed he did still have it and everything.
Yeah, I mean, I guess that's what he's doing. He's like, he's too cool for school, right? Like he's like, yeah, I don't wear it around my fingers. I do it this other cool way. um, yeah. So they say he has that bratty, no nonsense attitude of not wanting to be bossed around. That is such a cool character trait, and like modern Sieg, who is terrorizing everyone in the current times, is like dressed in pajamas. He's got like a long coat on, like a robe on over pajamas, which is a great look for him too. He definitely just has a like I just don't care vibe about him, which makes him seem extra crazy. Shade goes on to say that Amano Kosei, who is Sieg's actors, his first day of filming was actually the flashback scene with Code in 2004, the same year as Kamen Rider Blade, his first Kamen Rider series. Starting with the younger version of Sieg, Mr. Amano and the director carefully discussed Sieg's character, and through this process, he created Sieg, the terrifying Kamen Rider Dawn who enjoys playing with nightmares. Shade also shares with us a full look at the Gang Wolf nightmare, and that costume that we see with the Gang Wolf this time around is a modified version of the Wolf nightmare from cases 16 and 17. And because we were in that kind of like pseudo post-apocalyptic gang thing, we get a look here at Nem and her punk Red Riding Hood, which again, as you pointed out, is also Harley Quinn, like fully just a Harley Quinn outfit if you look at it close. Apparently both Nox and Nem's actors did their own stunts throughout the scenes in this episode where the nightmare is chasing them. The blog mentions how the scene must have been difficult to film because they both had to run around in their costumes and footwear while multiple explosives were going off. Nem is wearing like gigantic boots in the scene, and Nox's boots even have heels on them. So yeah, probably a little bit of a challenge.
See, like I didn't think that like that would be like the intense part when I thought about it. When they were running like towards the camera down the tiny ass hallway, like pulling like shelves down and stuff. It just seemed like something that would be easy to accidentally just fuck up in general and like trip the wrong way or do something silly. And like I feel like explosions is overselling what was happening, but there was definitely a lot of like firework sparks going off. And all I could think of was like, that seems nuts to like be running towards them, have them going off around you. Just so like the simple fact of like, if like sparklers do burn if when they hit you, and they're running down probably flammable clothes. It just seems silly. Like it would seem like extra like this seems intense in spite of them like running through sparklers kind of deal.
Yeah, and people don't realize that like those sorts of things are still very hot too. Like they put off a pretty intense amount of heat even for like the showy sparklery kind. Like if you go to like a pro wrestling show that has pyro, like you can feel the heat off the pyro for like across the stadium basically. So these things were hot as they're running through those hallways and shooting right at their faces and stuff. It's gotta be intense. The blog points out that if you pay attention when Zeztz pulls out the gun, he is using the impact, wonder, and gravity capsims in the gun. This combination of capsims is how he was able to bring the moon down to the ground, compress it, and throw the nightmare onto the moon.
There you go.
So there you go. That's the recipe if anyone's looking to replicate that. Then they have some cool photos of the various, craziness of Sieg. You get to see his outfit quite good here, which is again like a long purple coat over like silk pajamas. And he's got these like boots on where he hasn't even laced them up all the way. It is just a great crazy person outfit, I think. Shade says this would usually be the part where I share some news and tidbits, but it's been a slow week, so I'd like to share with everyone that I recently finished Kamen Rider V3. For those who don't know, V3 is, funnily enough, the second Kamen Rider series. The series follows Kazami Shiro. After the two original Kamen Riders disappeared in battle, Shiro was modified into Kamen Rider V3 to fight against the newly arise evil organization Destron, which is basically a rebranded Shocker. Before this, I had already watched all of the original shows, so I came into V3 knowing what to expect, and somehow the show still blew my expectations away. Kamen Rider V3 is such an amazing show that it's genuinely in the top 10 best Kamen Rider series of all time, for me at least. What makes V3 so great as a show is how unapologetically Kamen Rider it is, which I know is a weird thing to say considering how it's only the second Kamen Rider series, but V3 does a better job of capturing the essence of Kamen Rider than the original series. The original series had a lot of troubles behind the scenes, so it took them a really long time to truly figure out what the show should be like. None of the storylines in the original show ever went very far. Most of the characters and themes were very simple or unexplored, and the crew were just very inexperienced in general. Kamen Rider V3 is when you can tell they've finally refined their craft. There are now storylines that can sometimes make the show feel semi-serialized. Kazami Shiro's character was properly explored. The show's anti-fascism themes were not only explored more deeply, but was also turned up to 11, and it's awesome. I'm not kidding, by the way. V3 had a whole speech about rejecting fascism and everything. Hiroshi Miyauchi, the guy who plays Kamen Rider V3, is awesome too. He does a great job of portraying a warm and kind-hearted man that is hiding so much anger and sorrow underneath. He's very talented, and the show does utilize his talents in the best of ways. There were many moments that were so incredible, so inherently Kamen Rider that I just had to clip them. And yeah, Shade shares the clips with us. After V3, he then went on to play the first Blue Ranger and the first White Ranger in two different Sentai series. He's pretty cool. So if you've ever wanted to check out some classic Kamen Rider, but you don't have it in you to watch 100 episodes of the original show, which is totally understandable, by the way, V3 is an amazing alternate option. Kamen Rider V3 is an 8.7 out of 10 for me. Definitely worth a watch if you want to learn what Kamen Rider at its core is all about. All right, that's going to be it for me. Have a good day, everyone. Yeah, V3 sounds pretty cool. That's one show I haven't really watched nearly any of. But yeah, it sounds pretty sweet. I always forget as well, Toby, that the original series did run so long before they got into the, we kind of just run these for a year and then we moved to a different one. But yeah, that original series was like 100 episodes, as Shade mentioned.
That definitely seems like a lock in and go kind of thing.
Yeah.
It was still weekly? So you basically like the same season was 2 years straight?
As far as I'm aware, yeah, I think that's how it worked.
That seems crazy too for any TV show, for a season to be 2 years and not have it be like every month or like a weird broken up way we do TV series now. Like I can't imagine like a not soap opera TV show just running.
Yeah, right. Yeah, that is interesting. I looked up the dates. So it aired from 1971 to 1973. So yeah, 2 years. It ran for 98 episodes, which is crazy.
Crazy.
I do think, I haven't watched the whole 100 episodes, but I think if I remember right, the kind of like Kamen Rider V2, like the second Kamen Rider, was like a pseudo second season of the show. So like they introduced him, I think, as like hey, this is a little bit different now, but it retained the name Kamen Rider. Like they didn't actually change the name until V3.
Yeah.
And then then they were all a little bit more manageable after that. Pretty much instantly, as I scroll down through the list now of episode numbers, pretty much instantly go into we just make 49 of these, basically.
Gotcha.
Until they get to Decade, where they only made 31.
That seems like an easy season to watch.
It was. Yeah, it was one of my first. Highly recommend it. All right. Yeah, so thanks very much for the email there, Shade. And that does conclude our email segment. So if you would like to send in an email like Adebayo did and like Shade did this time around, send those over to cast@commonwritersucks.com. Once again, that is cast@commonwritersucks.com. And with that, Toby, I think we are at the end of our episode as well. So why don't you tell the people where they can find you on the internet?
On YouTube, it's Tobes Plays, and on Twitter, it's Life of Tobes. And I said them backwards, and it made me really pause and figure out what my freaking socials were, because I usually say on Twitter it's Life of Tobes, on YouTube it's Tobes Plays, and just completely threw me off.
Whew, I'm glad you sorted that out because my head's
that'd be
spinning.
tough.
You can find me over on Blue Sky, which I am at meek.lol. And you can find the show on Blue Sky, which is at commonwritersucks.com. So we do hope you check both of those things out. And also, we hope you check out our Patreon. We haven't mentioned that yet this episode. So the Patreon can be found at patreon.com/thecommentwriters. And we do a bunch of bonus content over there on the Patreon. If you sign up, you get access to all of it that we've ever put out. We usually do a couple pieces of content a week, watching some other tokusatsu show that we aren't discussing on the main podcast. So we watched through Boon Boomjers. We're watching through Dawn Brothers right now. We've just started the new Gavan show for Project Red. So yeah, lots and lots of stuff. We watched all of X8 if you want to catch up on all that. Lots of stuff over there on the Patreon. You can find that again at patreon.com/thecommentwriters. It's just $3 a month to get you access to everything and Discord access. But if you just want to sample it, not quite sure it's for you, you can follow the Patreon for free, and there's a post over there with the first 3 episodes of every season that we've watched, and you can watch those completely for free and see if it's for you. So we do hope you check that out, even just the free version, because there's quite a few episodes up there now where you can check out that are free to watch. So again, patreon.com/thecommentwriters. And that is going to wrap us up for this week. Thanks very much for joining us and spending time with us to talk about Zeztz this time around for episode 28. We hope you join us back next time to talk about episode 29 and continue, hopefully, the budding bromance between Baku and Nox. But in the meantime, we hope you all have a great week. Peace.